Hi guys, this is Jiggy, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to get a bit personal. I want to share with you guys my journey when it comes to Sony. As you guys may know, I am actually a Sony brand ambassador from the Philippines, and I started representing the brand I think in 2017 or 2018. But there is a story behind that because I started using Sony, or I shifted to Sony in 2013 with the first Sony A7, which is this one. When this particular camera came out, for me, it was so revolutionary that it changed the way I actually shot. Technically, it made me even a better photographer, but I'll get into that maybe in another video. But right now, I want to talk about this new concept that they've come up with. And for me, it is, again, another game changer. And why is that? I got this particular camera because I wanted a small, full-frame camera that I could take around whenever I would travel, and I would couple it with this one, the 35mm 2.8 lens, and my trusty 55mm 1.8. These two lenses, aside from the kit lens that came with this particular camera, the 28-70, were the only two autofocus lenses available during the time that I decided to purchase this mirrorless camera, the A7R Mark I. Okay? Now, I actually fell in love, or people fell in love with this camera, not necessarily because it was just a full-frame camera in a small body, but rather it was so revolutionary with a 36-megapixel sensor and the mirrorless system. People then realized how beautiful it was to be able to see what you see is what you get. In other words, you've got an electronic viewfinder, you've got a screen in the back that gives you no lag when it comes to exposure compensation. This exposure compensation dial was such a game changer for me because I shoot in aperture priority. I never shoot in manual. If you guys want to know why, I'll put a link in the description below on why I don't shoot manual. So anyway, so people then decided, hey, I love this Sony system, but I want this. So in other words, they wanted a better battery life, they wanted faster focusing, they wanted in-body stabilization, they wanted bigger lenses, they wanted more professional lenses. Then 7 years later, we ended up with this. This is now my workhorse to date, the A7R Mark IV. So this is the 4th generation of this one, and you can see there is a big difference when it comes to heft. And that's why I was so excited when they released the Sony A7c. The A7c now is basically from this, the A7R Mark I, to the A7R Mark IV with all the features that basically all these photographers were clamoring for. Sony listened and put it here. And what they did was basically took what is the essence of this one and put it here. So this one now becomes such a beautiful, portable, small camera for me to be able to take whenever I am traveling. So it's a good second camera to my A7R Mark IV. And at the same time, it's a good entry-level full-frame camera to those who want to shift from APS-C. Now, what are the advantages of this one? I'm sure there's so many reviews out there already depicting how comparable this one is to the well-loved A7 Mark III, and I really do believe that it is a valid point. Though this is a game changer. The fact that you have a flip-out screen already, it allows you to shoot vertically easily, and now it's also good for vlogging. Because this camera, this was a photocentric camera. This camera now is good for both photo and video. That's why I am so excited when they came out with this one, because this now really becomes my travel camera. Plus, they finally put an exposure compensation dial here, which I totally love. Now, what else? It brings the ability to be able to shoot with one hand again, because with this one, it's now such a hefty camera. It's very, very difficult. I'm not really such a big guy. So I've always been looking for a camera that I can hold with one hand, and at the same time, my wife can actually use with no problems at all. So as I said earlier, there's a ton of reviews out there about the A7c, but all I can say is that this is really such an amazing concept that Sony is doing. I love the fact that I can hold it with one hand again, and I really think it is a good entry for those people from APS-C sensors who wants to get into the full frame market, into the full frame cameras without having to sacrifice the size of APS-C. Now, how does this perform? Let's find out and let's start shooting with it, okay? All right, so as you guys can see, I've already set up a small shooting area here in the studio. And I'll just run you through the equipment that we will be using very quickly. Basically, I'll be using 4 Sony flash units. These are 2 f45RMs, one here and one here that you can't actually see in frame. But the purpose of this light that's over here is to bounce light off the ceiling and to create a nice hair light and to generally light up the place, but it's not really, well, it doesn't really give too much light, okay? But it's good to open up the shadows. The purpose of this one is really just to open up the shadows. Now, this f45RM is set so that it bounces off the floor just to illuminate this floor, because I don't want this to be underexposed. I want this to be bright white because it is supposedly a white floor. So I also have 2 f60RMs here, one on top and one below. This one is my main light, and it's got a focus diffuser on it, so it's just going to illuminate about half body of my subject, more or less, because today we will be shooting a full body shot. That's why we have another one here. This one is actually a modified clam. Normally the clam, this light underneath is facing upwards, but instead of doing that, I am actually facing it towards the floor, but since the floor is white, it's still going to reflect up. So it's dual purpose now because it's going to illuminate the floor and make it a brighter white, and illuminating the lower part of my subject today. And of course, we will be using the A7c for this particular shoot with a 35mm 2.8 lens. And then all these flash units will be controlled using the WRC1M, which is now on top of the A7c. All right, so let's get on to shooting. Okay, so I have an external monitor here connected via HDMI. Now, the reason why I have an external monitor is because I want all my settings in camera to be recorded so that you guys can see. So if I do that with HDMI info display on, it automatically turns off the screen of my camera. Hence, I need an external monitor to be able to see what my camera is seeing. But I will probably turn that off later when I start shooting, once all the settings are set and you guys have actually seen what my settings are. So right now, live view is turned off. That's why you are seeing the exposure from all the ambient light in the studio right now. But technically, my settings are 1/60, f2.8, ISO 100, and this is my actual exposure. It's pitch black. So everything that you will be seeing today will be coming from the 4 Sony flash units. So what else are my settings? Basically, I have my white balance set as 5600 Kelvin because all these flash units are daylight balanced. So that's for me 5600 Kelvin. Then of course, RAW plus JPEG. And here's an important thing. I actually have my focusing mode on continuous focusing. The reason for that is because this camera, the A7C, is actually equipped with the same focusing system as that of the A7R Mark IV. And what does that mean is that it focuses really fast. So there's a dedicated AF button in the back which I can keep depressed all the time, meaning it is always continuously focusing and searching for my subject's eye or face, and every time I shoot, they will always, those aspects of them will always be in focus, whether or not they move forward, move back, left or right, as you guys will see later. So it's essential that my focusing is always going to be on continuous focusing. Now, what else? My flash settings. My flash settings, as you can see here, another great option that's also here in the A7C is that there's an option for you to be able to control all your flash units in camera using this system. Okay, so this main light of mine, the f60RM, is actually set at 1/16 power. The one below it is set at 132 power. The one on top, which is an f45RM, hence a bit weaker than the f60, is set at 1/4 power because it illuminates a greater area and then it has to come back down. So that's why it's about balancing the light. And now we have this light here, which is set at 132 power. So if you guys want to see how each light works, I will turn off each light and show you how it works or how it affects the image. Okay, so this particular shot, this is the only light that's working, and that's the only thing it illuminates. Okay, so now we're gonna turn off that light and turn on my hair light. Okay, and that is what it illuminates. That's how powerful it is. Okay, now from there, I think that's a bit too strong. I'm gonna weaken it up a bit later. Now we'll turn that one off and turn on this light over here. Okay, and that's what it illuminates. Now lastly, we will turn that off and I will show you what my main light is doing. There we go. All right. Now if we turn everything on, it's so much easier being able to do this in camera. That is my exposure now. Okay, so with all those settings out of the way, I can now turn off HDMI display info. So I can put this monitor aside and actually use the monitor, the screen that's here, because I am totally loving the flip screen because, well, you're gonna see it later when I start shooting. All right, so I guess it's time for me to call in my model. Babe, do you mind coming in? My model, of course, is my wife, Coco. And it's different. We're doing something different today because normally, if you guys have seen the past videos, I would normally shoot Coco half body or headshot. And for today, we decided that I wanted to shoot her full body. Okay, now, since I am using a 35mm, my problem is if I go too close to her in order to fill the frame, I will actually be succumbing to distortion, which I don't want to do. So what I'd rather do is move back and bring in a little bit more of basically what's all the noise around the image, and I'll just crop it afterwards in post. Okay, babe, do you mind taking one step back and going closer towards the, there we go. And then there, perfect, you know what to do. Maybe the right foot forward a bit, there we go. And then the slit, I think this dress has a slit, show off your white pants, there, perfect. Good, good. All right, lean forward a bit, lean forward. Don't look towards the camera, maybe towards here, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Now I think my, as I said earlier, my flash there might be too strong. So I will adjust it and make it weaker. It was at 1/4 power earlier. I'm gonna make it about 1/8 power, or maybe even just at 1/16 power. Okay, one more shot, babe. See, with continuous focusing, now you guys can't see it because I turned off HDMI info. But basically, when I turn off when I press my AF on button in the back, it just focuses on, you know what? I'm gonna turn HDMI info just for a brief moment so that you guys can see, look what is happening there. Every time I press my AF on button, look, automatically focus on her eye. And babe, can you move around a bit? Look at that. Lean forward. Move to your right. Move to your left. Play around, see? Look at how the focus is always locked in, and that's how I am shooting her. That's why I like shooting in continuous focusing. So I'm gonna turn off HDMI info again so that I can shoot using the LCD screen here in the back. All right, okay, perfect. So can you move that? There we go, perfect. And lean forward a bit. Good, I like that. Can you open up your both elbows? Yes, there we go. Maybe relax this one there. Very nice. Oh, there, I like that. Oh, can you? Yeah, but your body's a bit too flat towards the camera, so you can angle it this way or this way. It's really up to you. There. What you feel more comfortable with. Maybe you could put more weight on your right foot and just do that. Yeah, and then chin going there. Good. Nice. How about looking at me straight? Good. Not at the camera, but me. All right. Very nice. You look good. Gorgeous. Oh, I love that. I really love that. You know what? I'm going to face this towards you so that you could see how it looks like. There, can you see? Sorry. Can you see? All right. Okay. Good. Give me more of your right shoulder. There. Perfect. All right. Good. Beautiful. Look at it. Nice, right? So as you guys can see, I am actually shooting wider than normal because if I go in closer, which I will show you guys now, I'll make this handheld. So that's why I love this screen. I love the size of this camera so much because finally I can shoot again with one hand, because with this lens combo and this small body, it's so light that it's so easy for me to actually go in and just shoot her. Look, if I go in closer and can you get in the same pose and fill the frame and crop out all these things, there will be distortion in the shot. Look at how distorted she looks. It's not flattering at all. If I move back here, okay, there we go. Lean forward, babe, please. Good. I love that. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's take a few more shots. I'm really loving this flip out screen because especially for people like me who have really bad backs. And whenever, a rule of thumb, whenever you're shooting a full body portrait, it's always best to have camera level on the waist level, waist height of your subject. So imagine if I didn't have this flip out screen, I would have to do this. It's very painful for my knees and my back, and I'm totally loving this camera. Okay, lean forward. Good. Look towards me. Good. Look at that. Never ever left her eye. Perfect. This for me is really such a wonderful camera. Thank you very much, babe, again for this, for your time to do this. And what can I say? This is such an amazing compact camera that's really creating a new category in terms of how they were able to fit everything that I loved about my Sony system now into such a small and compact body. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you have some comments, or maybe if you just want to say hello, please do leave them in the comment section below because I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to see more of my images, you could follow me on Instagram. It's at Jiggy Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.